My father stole my fiancée. They got married and had twins. Now he's dead, and my family expects me to raise his kids. I told them no. I never thought I'd be that guy. The one with a story so absurd and so messy it sounds made up. But here I am. Currently 32. I grew up in a rough area. The kind where people either got trapped there or clawed their way out by the skin of their teeth. I was one of the few who escaped. I busted my butt in school, worked nights in college, and networked like hell until I landed a decent paying job in tech consulting. Now I live a life I used to only dream about. I live in a quiet suburb. I have a nice house with a home office. I have a nice car, a private gym membership, and everything is sweet, clean, peaceful, and safe. Back then, I left home with my wife, Maria, currently 34, as soon as I landed my current job. We were about 23 at the time. Just married and excited about our future. Maria was beautiful, sharp, and loyal. Or so I thought. She and I had been together since high school. Same block. Same struggles. She got me. And she hated how dangerous our neighborhood was becoming. Or so she said. I thought we were on the same page. But once we moved away, she started missing her old life. The noise, the people, the feeling of being known. In our new town we were just another successful working-class couple. No one knew us, and she was having a hard time making friends. Me, on the other hand? I never looked back. I flourished in my new environment. I loved everything about it. The second I was gone from my childhood neighborhood, I promised myself I'd never go back unless there was a funeral. But Maria? She started visiting more often. Saying she was just catching up with friends and family she missed. She said she needed to stay connected. I didn't love it, but I trusted her. Big mistake. She started going alone. Said it was just easier without me tagging along and getting tense. I didn't argue. I told her to send everyone my best wishes. And that was that. I figured she was reconnecting with her roots. No big deal. Meanwhile, I was working my ass off. I'd started supporting my extended family once I got my career off the ground. I paid my mom's bills, helped my younger siblings with school, even floated my dad. 60M. Some cash when he claimed his back injury made it hard to work. I didn't mind. I knew how hard it was to survive there, and I thought of the payments as investments. Maybe if I eased their financial burdens, it would present opportunities to explore different paths to success. Spoiler alert, I was delusional. Opportunity is not the only thing you need to succeed. You also need drive, and my family was lacking that quality. Then came the moment everything unraveled. My mom called me crying. Like ugly crying. I could hardly understand her. She said, "I'm sorry. I'm so sorry." I walked in on them. Your father and Maria. They were in bed. I remember freezing. Literally went cold. My brain didn't register it. I asked her again, and she said, "He's been sneaking around with her. For months." I didn't believe it. I thought it was neighborhood gossip until today. I wanted to throw up. I confronted Maria that night. She didn't deny it. She didn't even pretend to cry. "I'm sorry," she said flatly. "But I love him." I felt like my entire chest had caved in. We proceeded to have one hell of a nasty fight. Nothing physical, but things were thrown and broken. Horrible words were said that I'm ashamed of today. She insulted my manhood and confessed she had been sleeping with him since we were 19. That was a complete shock to my system. She moved out 2 days later. Took what she could carry and left. My father let her stay with him. They lived together in the same house I'd helped pay off. My mother moved in with me temporarily until she could get back on her feet. I didn't have an issue with it. We were both in the same boat. Commiserating about the affair and upcoming divorces. And the worst part about this whole thing? My entire family, except for my mother, took their side. My siblings, my cousins, even my favorite aunt, who I always thought of as level-headed. They said I was being dramatic. That love is love. That Maria had been unhappy with me for a long time and my dad made her feel alive again. She was 31. My father was 60. I cut them all off. Cold. I stopped sending money. You would think that would have been the end of things. But no. It got worse. First, it was the messy divorce proceedings. Maria had the nerve to demand I pay alimony. She also wanted half of our assets. My lawyer quickly pointed out her affair with my father and the fact that she had a job and wasn't financially dependent on me. The alimony suit was quickly dropped. I did, however, have to split our savings account with her, which amounted to a little over $60,000. I also signed over the car I bought for her last birthday. But I kept the house. In the meantime, my family kept finding new ways to contact me, to beg for money. They called me selfish and petty for cutting them off. They had the nerve to claim that my withdrawal was cruel because they had grown accustomed to their lifestyle afforded by my aid, and now they would have to budget. Even my father had the audacity to get in touch. Not to apologize or make amends, but to ask for money for Maria to get some new furniture. Apparently, she had always hated my mother's decorating style. Block, 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 block. Everywhere. Eventually, things did calm down. My mother and I settled into a peaceful existence. It took her about a year to rebound. She met a nice gentleman at the community center, and now they are living together. I continued to focus on my work. I even expanded my friend circle. I met a wonderful woman named Sam, and we started dating. My life was great. Yes, I still thought about my ex, but as time went on, it happened less and less. 3 years later, I found out through my mom that Maria and my dad had gotten married. And to top it off, they had twins through IVF. IVF? Really? They paid for IVF while my father was lying to me about needing rent money a few months prior. I mused that they must have had a financial come-up these last years. My mom was disgusted. She stayed in contact with my siblings, but barely. I wasn't exactly mad at the news. It was more of a shocked indifference. I was now married to Sam, and my life was going amazingly. We had upgraded to a bigger home the year prior. Anticipating our own expanding family. I didn't have the want or energy to care what my ex and my father was up to. Then something happened that violently shook my world. And now I was very interested in their lives. Last year, my dad died of a sudden heart attack. Dropped dead while mowing the lawn. I didn't go to the funeral. I hadn't been invited. My mother attended though, and I sent flowers. His loss hurt me to my core. He was my father, and I loved him despite all of the bull that happened with Maria. I found out where he was buried and decided to have my own send-off. I brought Samantha with me. She was an amazing rock through this trying time. After a week or so, I felt whole enough to continue my daily routines. I closed that chapter in my life, and now I could look forward to the future again. Of course, that's not exactly what happened. Just when I thought I was finally free of that whole mess, my phone started blowing up. First my brother. Then my cousin. Then Maria's best friend. How the hell did they get my number? All with the same message. The twins need a father figure. Maria's falling apart. Family steps up. Those are your siblings, dude. Oh hell no. Absolutely not. I must be trapped in a fever dream. These people couldn't possibly expect me to. What? Take over daddy duties to my father's twins. They are not my responsibility. Not my kids. Not my circus. Not my monkeys. I told my brother to never contact me again. I told Maria's friend to lose my number. I told my cousin to get bent. Then Maria reached out. Through my business email. She must have gotten a hold of one of my business cards. Subject line, please. She wrote some long, rambling message about how she didn't realize how hard it would be. How my father had promised to always be there. How she couldn't work and raise twins alone. How she knew she hurt me but hoped I could forgive for the children's sake. I stared at it for a long time. Not gonna lie, I felt something. Pity? Maybe. But mostly, I was pissed off. I didn't even bother replying. My mom told me I was doing the right thing. She said, those kids have her side of the family. They're not yours. You owe nobody anything. And she's right. I spent half my life breaking my back for people who would throw me under a bus the second it was convenient. I made my life. I saved myself. And they are mad I refuse to be dragged into their endless drama and problems. Maria made her bed. She made it with my father. Let that sink in. Now she can lie in it. Alone. Sorry, not sorry. Update, 6 months later. The guilt trips haven't stopped. Every week or two, someone new from that side of the family pops up on social media or calls from a number I don't recognize. They even started showing up at my new home. I really need to figure out who's leaking my information to them. My block list is longer than my contact list at this point. Maria posted a photo of the twins' birthday on Facebook. A bunch of people tagged me saying things like, "Your blood. Your father's legacy." And, "Can't believe you don't care." I ignored them all. They can go straight to hell. I've been in therapy. Not for them, but for myself. For the self-hatred that started to grow when I kept wondering what I did wrong. I didn't do anything wrong. I just trusted the wrong people. My wife is now pregnant, and she's my main concern. I've been stressed out these last couple of weeks from being bombarded by messages. I'm trying to keep calm for her and our baby's sake. Sam is shocked by their behavior. She's never met anyone from my family except my mother, and probably never will. I told her to just ignore them. I've built a new family, with her, with close friends, and with the quiet peace that comes from knowing I never have to set foot back in that toxic cycle again. I'm not their savior. I'm not their backup plan. I'm done being their bank, their crutch, their emotional dumping ground. You only get to betray me once. Update 2. It's been a year since I posted about how my father stole my fiancée. Married her. Had twins via IVF. And then dropped dead, leaving behind chaos I wanted no part of. I thought things had quieted down. Blocked numbers. Switched my email. Changed jobs again, now fully remote. Things were good. I got remarried to Sam, the most patient, grounded woman I've ever known. We have a daughter who is my whole world. Alright, now to the update. Maria reappeared. Literally. Not through a message. Not through a relative. No, Maria showed up at my front door with the twins. At 8:30 on a Friday night. I didn't recognize her at first. She looked wrecked. Thinner, hair unwashed, huge bags under her eyes. The twins, both boys, were maybe 3 now. One was asleep, the other holding a ragged stuffed bunny and staring at me like I was a stranger. Which I am. Maria began this crazed speech. I know this is a lot, Ryan. But I'm out of options. She said she'd been evicted. No one on her side was answering her calls. She had nowhere to go. She said she remembered my address from when she helped me forward mail, and she just drove, hoping I'd understand. She started crying. Said she couldn't do it anymore. That she was slipping. That she'd checked herself into the ER twice for panic attacks. That she didn't sleep anymore. That she had nowhere safe to leave them. And then she said the words that made my blood run cold. I just need a break. A week. 2 weeks max. Please, I just need you to take them. I can't. I cut her off. You're not leaving them here. Her face crumpled. Please. They are his kids. They are your brothers. Just look after them for a little while. No, I said. I'm not your safety net. I'm not his replacement. You don't get to use me. Did you burn bridges with the rest of your family and friends too? Why are you coming to me? She started getting loud. Crying harder. One of the twins started crying too, screaming, "Mommy," while tugging at her sleeve. The other one still just stared at me, confused and sleepy. Samantha came to the door. She had heard the yelling. I'm sure the entire neighborhood did. She took one look at Maria and the kids and froze. Then she stepped up beside me and said, "You need to leave. Now. Or we're calling the police." Maria snapped. You don't even know what it's like. You live in this little bubble while I'm drowning. He left me with nothing. He was 60, Maria, I said. You knew damn well he wasn't going to be around to raise those kids to adulthood. You thought you'd secure the bag and now you're pissed it didn't work out. I'm guessing you didn't realize his bag was my really bag. That shut her up. She stood there for a long moment. I could see the shift in her face, anger into humiliation into cold calculation. You'll regret this, she said. You'll regret turning your back on family. I didn't reply. Sam shut the door. We watched from the window as she loaded the twins back into her beat-up SUV. She sat there for a long time. I half expected her to just leave them in the yard. But eventually she drove off. I called my mom that night. She was horrified. She offered to reach out to Maria and find someone else in the family who could help with the kids. But she knew as well as I did, no one wants that responsibility. They just wanted me to take it so they could sleep easier. I resigned to file a police report later, just in case. I don't trust her not to try again. I also called a lawyer, who advised me to document everything. Emails, messages, that visit. Because in a worst-case scenario, Maria could try to file for abandonment or claim I offered to take them. I thought I was done with her. I thought after everything she did, she'd stay gone. But desperation makes people dangerous. If she shows up again, we won't answer the door. And if she tries to leave those kids here? CPS will be called immediately. I didn't abandon my family. They abandoned me when they chose betrayal over loyalty. When they let my own father steal my future and clapped for it. I owe them nothing. The next morning, we found a note stuffed under the doormat. No envelope. Just a torn sheet of notebook paper with jagged handwriting. It read, "You'll see. Blood always wins. You'll come crawling back when you realize you're alone too. I will take everything from you." Sam handed it to me with gloves on, like it was toxic. I reported it to the police. Made a formal complaint. Gave them her name, her car model, her last known address. The officer didn't seem very hopeful but told me to call if she showed up again. Get cameras, he said. Get evidence. Done. I installed 2 cameras that afternoon, one pointed at the driveway, one at the front door. Weeks passed. Nothing happened. I almost convinced myself it was over. Almost. 3 weeks ago, at 2 a.m. one of the cameras pinged my phone. I sat up, heart hammering, and checked the feed. Maria was back. She wasn't alone. She had a man with her, some stringy, rough-looking guy in a hoodie, and they were trying my front door. I woke Sam, called 911 with shaking hands, and kept the operator on the line while we watched them on the camera. They kept trying the door. Jiggling the handle. Peering through the windows. Laughing. It was sickening. The cops got there fast, sirens screaming through the night. Maria and the guy took off running but didn't get far. They were arrested half a block away. Turns out the guy was some loser she'd met at a shelter. He had outstanding warrants. She was drunk out of her mind. Claimed she just wanted to talk, but couldn't explain why she had a crowbar in her backpack. They charged her with attempted burglary and public intoxication. The guy got hit harder because of his priors. I pressed charges. So did Sam. That was 3 weeks ago. Maria's still sitting in county jail, from what I hear. Her family tried to blow up my phone again, but this time I didn't even bother reading the messages. Straight to block. My lawyer helped me get a restraining order against Maria. Permanent. Covers me, Sam, our daughter, and our property. If she so much as breathes in my direction again, she's going back to jail. For the first time in my life, I have real peace, and I'm not sacrificing it for any of them. If you think I'm being mean, I don't care. Maria made her choices. My father made his. Their kids are not my responsibility. I am not the cleanup crew for people who chose betrayal. I am not the second option when the first burns down. I survived them. I outgrew them. I owe them nothing. And honestly, I've never been happier. Not my circus. Not my monkeys. Not ever again.